So instead of building pergola below the roof line, they actually built it above the roof.
We had an umbrella, a table with an umbrella on our deck, but it just wasn't doing the trick. It was extremely difficult to figure out what to do with that, and quite frankly, some of the companies who came out didn't know what to do with it, so they weren't even going to do anything. Pergomatic figured out a way to get it fully covered with nice louvers, with nice lighting. You don't get that from a lot of companies. You know, you call a company and they'll say they'll get back to you, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, but we didn't find that with Pergomatic at all. Hi, I'm Terry Crystal Moranz.
I'm Mike Moranz, and living in Mar Vista. We also live about a mile from the ocean.
So we had a problem. Most of our deck is just kind of a rectangle, but there's a small little cutout area where our kitchen is and the back door is. It was extremely difficult to figure out what to do with that, and quite frankly, some of the companies who came out to give us an estimate didn't know what to do with it, so they weren't even going to do anything. Pergomatic figured out a way to get it fully covered with nice louvers, with nice lighting. It's perfect. It came out so beautifully. We didn't even expect how nicely it would come out, so we're very pleased with that.
One of the things we wanted was some height, so we didn't feel like we were squished in a small space. So instead of building pergola below the roof line, or the eaves, they actually built it above the roof, which gave us about another 1.5 feet of height. But also the system they have has built-in drainage, so that it takes the water away from the louvers. It actually drains away from the house. One of the nice things is when the louvers open, they'll open up to 135 degrees. We can tilt the louvers in a way that the sun will come in and we have direct sunshine if we want it, or we can tilt the louvers back a little bit towards the east and block off if there's too much sun.
So I wanted to say something about the pergola is sitting on our deck. So underneath our deck, there's a gap. Deck is not actually sitting on dirt, it's sitting on some pilings. And Pergomatic actually went underneath the deck and reinforced the deck, you know, so that the heaviness of the material that they use for the pergola would be sustained properly by the deck, and we wouldn't have any issues with long-term issues with stability. All in all, it was a wonderful experience. Everybody in the company is just super helpful, very responsive. You don't get that from a lot of companies. You know, you call a company and they'll say they'll get back to you, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, but we didn't find that with Pergomatic at all, which is another reason we went with Pergomatic. So now I can come out here in the morning and have a cup of coffee when the louvers are closed and read a little bit. We put in a couple of heaters, so those work extremely well for us. Also, if it gets a little chilly in the evening, again from the ocean breeze. And it's been a wonderful addition. We thoroughly enjoy it. Thank you to Pergomatic for doing a wonderful installation and providing us with exactly what we were looking for.
And I'll ditto that. I can't say anything more than Terry has said. It's just been a wonderful experience.
Pergomatic, 4-season comfort.